to go and charge with. Artyom Shabanov will lead first, Leonid Schneider. Light sequence then will start. 1, 2, 3. And let's get ourselves underway here in top 32 here in the Royal Drift Series. Artyom Shabanov then tipping it into OZ1. Leo Schneider's going to try and get there. Straightens out though through OZ1 and a chance then to say I'm going to run away. Leo pops out of the smoke then into OZ2, tries to chase it back, gets back to the door, but Artyom Shabanov is drifting this one lovely, hitting the marks, absolutely ace. And now how's the transfer out of OZ3 into OZ4? Leo's very shallow and he's having to fight this one to get back. They'll call that compromise, but a very accomplished start there. Has that confidence. He knows the winner will go on and battle the winner of the next battle of Nick Lee and Chunji Long. So here goes Leo Schneider, really kicking an angle. Oh my! Oh, Leo, he doesn't quite hit what he needs to there, but he put an absolute eternity on that first one. It's a little bit compromised in then from Artyom Shabanov. He's not following as good as maybe I've expected him to, but now as they work into OZ4, lovely, he's got to get right up to the door here and try and get that in on the chase. Very good recovery there. Artyom Shabanov gets it from Stepan Zemtsev and Denis Denisov and Stas Dolgic and Danila Vorobiev and Erasmo Rios. It's a 5-0, and Artyom Shabanov then will move into top 16. There they are, VR38 engine, 1,000 brake horsepower for Nick Lee out there. It's normally what you find in the Nissan Skyline, but he'll be now looking to push that in his BMW. Chunji Long wants to get himself in, and let's get ourselves then going for this. Beamer versus Beamer, as here goes the push. This is the 16 and 17 seeds. Oh, 2 tyres dip over, and that's not going to be ideal here for Nick Lee on that lead as he goes through. Oh, big contact, bang, absolutely smashes in. There does Chunji Long. They'll put it on Chunji Long there for that, and hopefully there's not enough damage. Steady. This could be a moment here where Nick Lee gets himself a chance to go against the boss of all bosses in top 16. Here comes that second attempt that goes through. That's nice on the line. Slightly over though from Chunji Long. Nick Lee's going to have to go out there and give him a little bit of a something for it. They get close over the bump, trying to stay with. This is looking nice out there. Big kick of tail then from Chunji Long. He's trying to desperately shake off and run away and drive away, but Nick Lee's not going anywhere. Nick Lee has done more than enough then to deserve his place in top 16. Yeah, 5 going the way of Nick Lee. No shock, no drama at all. Out there in the Minion machine, it is an E46 playing a Safiro A31. 50 horsepower to the favour of the left-hand side of Tianjin. And so 1087 will now look around at this and go, have we got what it takes on Dongling, who's normally with Shanghai Zhejiang drift team. Now here comes the chance then into OZ1 for the first time for these two. Really nice line there, shallowing, and oh, he's driven out of it. There has Dongling, hasn't been able to get any rotation. Oh, and again, back to back. We have had the trouble there, back to back. Here goes the chance then, 1, 2, 3, and let's get ourselves back in and pushing hard for it. Dongling will have the control then as he looks to try and get that tip in here to OZ1, and he chucks it, but he misses it. Tianjin is so shallow down on the inside. He's got to be very careful here. Make sure that you don't make contact on the transfer. It's very, very much a gator. Don't get there. Oh my, almost enough to make contact, and I think he just about avoided it here. Something clearly not right for Tianjin working through OZ4. They will rule in the way of Tianjin, who will now prioritise as Johnson Chen. There we go. Tianjin 5-0s, and ultimately will make his way through. So for 3 straight runs, he's in an E46 going for it right now. And so I would say he's in a car that he has had no practice. It was right at the end of practice. He couldn't get any running, so he is going in 100% blind. Now here's the chance for this 4th lot of drifting to go in. Fontaine the lead. Chase from Avonpay. Fontaine trying to kick it out. It doesn't matter if he's done it for the first time in this car. He is absolutely lighting it there through OZ1. OZ2 getting close. There is Avonpay really trying to get himself through, but he stutters up so close. He has to really fight back now through OZ3 into OZ4. Chases it back, but there's not much angle to give there from Sebastian Fontaine at OZ4. Lovely bit of competition between the pair of them. 3 up. It was a very lovely first drift by the pair of them. How will things pair on the second run? Now it's going to be a case of give yourself what for. Avonpay absolutely chucking it in now, and Fontaine is going to try and give himself everything he can to chase this back, working hard then through OZ2. Lovely, right to the door handle, but he has to straighten out for fear of making contact. Fontaine's got to do a lot of work now to get this back through OZ3 into OZ4, gives it a little bit more angle, and Avonpay has put a lovely battle on in here. Sebastian Fontaine has been pushed. Sebastian gets 1, Sebastian gets 2. Oh, Ivan gets 1. 3, 3-2 is the result. So Sebastian here is going to get the call of winner. Matskovich Kirill now into the second half of the bracket against Sheng Wenxi. LT5 engine in that BMW, and it is absolutely ace to see that LT5 engine there. Kirill running something lovely, but that Chevrolet LT5 6.2 litre supercharged pushrod V8 from 2019. It's going to be absolutely ace. He immediately gets across here to Sheng Wenxi. Matskovich Kirill chucks in a lot of angle then off the start and says, I'm going to want to get on in. Transfer over, and now he's trying to pull away here. A lot of work going to have to be done here by Sheng Wenxi to go and get this one back. He normally runs for Jonta, straightens out on the exit, trying to get back here, and he's not got any pace by comparison. Look at that, that's an abandon of the run. Just couldn't get any drift momentum out of 2 into OZ3. 3 lights up, and let's get going once more. So now Sheng Wenxi has to put himself steady into this one. Matskovich Kirill has to find a way to follow. Oh, lovely angle there by Sheng Wenxi. He's got to try and get himself out of the corner quick, but remember that 2JZ engine that's there is going to make a big difference, and Kirill's struggling to keep that distance back into play. Massive angle being brought into play by Sheng Wenxi. He's laying down a storm to try and keep this one to Kirill. Kirill's struggling through that final section. He's not going to get there. Oh my goodness me, we could see an upset. A look at this one here. One more time for that 6. Now liveried is Van Chi, who's there for Champion Speedsport DRS drifting team. Brian there for Shanghai Apex drift team in that E92. 900 brake horsepower play, 750. And I know that Brian wants to send a message. Van Chi, a very, very good drifter. I'm shocked that he is the lower seed out there on as a 20 seed. So give it what you can. The darling in the Franks now looking to try and chuck it in. Lovely angle, slightly low and low again. Needs to fight this one back off the exit. Van Chi has got to try and get close. Grass gets kicked up there at OZ2. Desperately trying to get that to kick in for an angle. Van's not going to go anywhere here. Brian, you're going to have to do a little bit more here at OZ4 as they work through. Oh! Van Chi into the wall. He tags the wall there as he goes through. He's managed to gather it back enough. Beamer versus Beamer. Z4 though playing E92. Van Chi will now lead them away, and Brian Chen is the one who's gonna have to follow on in sort into OZ1. Very big angle from Brian there, but that's gonna mean he's gonna work hard to have to get back. Van Chi held the line lovely on the outside. It's such a small piece of machinery out there, that Z4. It's very tough to know how close you can get, and Van Chi is starting to break this one away. He's looking there, but Brian gets back, but he's not gonna get back enough in my view. Oh, 5-4. They are going to call it then between them, which means it is one more time for them as well. Is definitely necessary out there. So one half of the bracket or one little piece of this second part of the bracket we don't know about. Now it's going to be a case of Kaitak, as he had Jerry Zhu there as his photo. They're going through against Echo. Echo not in the car she normally runs in because she's had some troubles out there with the steering. and the gearbox, so ultimately has to go into position now and really kick with a car that doesn't necessarily do much. Echo for 1087X, it's Kaitak, then for 0 mileage lubricants, Nuoyu Gold Core, and Echo pulls away through OZ2. Now he's going to really try and set it down. Power comes back into play then here from Kaitak, who brushes against the wall. Echo has laid down a very nice mark. Kaitak's not really been close for the second consecutive meet. Now, let's get ourselves in. The chase begins for Echo Gal. Kaitak now looking to chuck it in. Miles ahead at OZ1. Now just drive it away, why don't you? Echo was so slow off the mark to get that setting into play. And I think Kaitak Ho here is going to create a huge upset if that's the case. Echo's really got to work to get this back. No angle offered there by Echo, trying to get into OZ4. Really going to have to work to chuck it in. Oh, that's a mess for Echo. She tries to get back at the door and does. HC does not look at the pace that's there. And Kaitak is going to get through as a 5-0. And so that is a huge upset. 5C goes out to the 28. Next up, though, it is 12th place, 21. Shalva Adziashvili against Kodai Sabagiri. These two have got to go and put on a show. And they know how critical it will be for them. Rydan's playing up against the DRS team. Shaq with the lead. Kodai is going to be the one who is going to have to chase the man from Gifu. They're looking for it, slightly missing the mark there. Through OZ1 is Shaq, and he knows that he's going to have to be absolutely on it here if he wants to get it. He's got to go full Shaq attack if he wants to go and get this sorted. And Kodai gets very shallow through OZ2. OZ3 is a wheel out the mark, gives him the room back in at OZ4. Look how short that is from Kodai Sabagiri there, and that could be more than enough. Very much a case of what you see from the Toyota engine for Kodai Sabagiri, and this NSR20, it's a 2-litre inline 4 in normal situation. So now, play it on the reverse. Sabagiri chucking it in here on this second run. Shaq is going to find him right at the door through OZ1. Now get the transfer into OZ2. He left him too close. Oh, he got far too close there. Now he's going to fight it back, and he almost loses out going through. Kodai gets the gap. Shaq's going to have to really work to get this back at OZ4. Abandons OZ3 to have a go for it. Kodai Sabagiri, I think, has found a way back. Miners being a car like that. Oh, they're going to go the way of Shaq Adiashvili, who will go through on a 5-0. So they looked at Kodai Sabagiri's first run, and they said that was not good enough. Pavel Korpelinski, 4th at the moment in Drift Masters up against Kevin Lee. Kevin struggled out there with power steering issues in qualifying. That's why he's down as we move to the second half of the bracket. Now, can you lay down a run and give it the what for? Pavel on the lead, Kevin Lee on the chase. Pavel, lovely line in. It's very, very front nose heavy from Kevin Lee. He's going to have to work hard here through OZ2 to keep himself back into this one. And again, he's struggling down low, where Pavel Korpelinski is just getting the line that he wants and then some. Now running through OZ3 into OZ4 and trying to get as much of a turnaround as possible. I think Kevin Lee's going to be nowhere close there. Pavel has got a team on a budget, but he is their #1 driver for this season. He will run all 5 rounds. Pavel will look around at Kevin Lee, who's now got the opportunity to push forward. Now cut it up into OZ1. Lot better there, Kevin, but he's overgone in. Korpelinski trying to give room here into the transfer for OZ2. Now as he goes up over the berm here, moving from asphalt to concrete like it's Sebring, Kevin is having a much better lead run than he is here in the chase, but Pavel is just getting him at every single corner, has not once let him leave his sight. That was a get the job done drift. Next up, it's going to be Von Kai Wei up against Jerry Zhu for Shanghai Apex. Champion Speed Sports being run there. So we'll see what he's all about here as we will now lead off here in the second half of the bracket. Von Kai Wei tips it in. Jerry Zhu is going to have to follow him. Vong is nowhere through OZ1. Is going to have to fight to get back through here. Jerry's following the wheel nice. He's slightly uncompromised. Oh, he's zeroed out. He's gone and straightened out there, going through OZ2. Now that's going to be a disaster for Jerry as he couldn't get anything to really grab and give. He'll fight to try and get back. He won't get there. Von Kai Wei on a huge advantage now to get himself in and with a shot of seeing top 16. Here comes the chances then. Van Kuyve, oh, he's so late on it, and he's actually going to spin out. Oh my goodness me. Jerry Jew, red flags are going to fly, and he knows he's going to go out there and be absolutely elated with that, will Jerry? The one disaster that you needed to avoid, Van Kuyve has gone and spun it out at OZ1, trying to get through. He was so wide on that run, trying to get himself into play. And Jerry is going to get the mark with that 0 out from Van Kuyve on a 5-0. So an underdog goes through, the 18 seed. He's going to move himself into top 16, where he'll run into Pavel Korpelinski. Sam Chen on the right, Johnson Chen on the left. And it's going to be a case of United States versus China. Johnson in the Chun-Li machine out there. The Street Fighter is going to go out there up against that R35 Nissan Skyline that's been struggling with anti-lag out there. Here goes Johnson Chen moving on through. Oh, and there's going to be contact immediately there as they push that in. That one for the third time today. Green flag in the background to allow the next lot through. Here comes a chance to get this one back in, and again, round 2 between these two. Fight! And now in through. All the cones are going to go. That's 3 in a row from Sam Chen, who's trying to just jump away from Johnson as quick as possible. Johnson's got to stay with him. That Skyline is going to be massive. Gets right up to the rear, but now needs to try and get this transfer sorted. Slow on the transfer here. Johnson's being left in the dust, but I don't think it's going to be more than enough to see it between them here. They'll see how this goes, and around. I think I'm there. 5-0. They'll rule that one to Johnson Chen. And Sam out there in his backup rather than the E36 that he was going to run. A battle of two Zhengs coming along next. Zheng Xinchen, the big boss at 0 mileage, up against Zheng Zhehe. Are you going to charge? He said 5,000 out there was his response. Zheng Xinchen looking to go out there against Zheng Zhehe, and now how does he lay it down? Very nice then on that run. Zheng Zhehe trying to hold himself back, but Xinchen is going to be looking to try and jump away. He's a little over the mark at OZ2 here. Zheng Zhehe is trying to hold the best he can. That Supra has got a lot of pace about it. Zheng Zhehe is holding himself steady. He's a little narrow there on the back, and he's going to have to fight hard to give it some angle to go and get it back. This is going to be where they look to try and charge this back. Zheng Zhehe versus Zheng Xinchen, looking to try and really chuck this in through OZ1. Oh, lovely on the transfer. Now into OZ2. Zheng Zhehe trying to do everything he can to break away. Zheng Xinchen's at his door handle, and he's now trying to give himself the what for. Transfer looks good. Over into OZ4. Oh, he's going to have to stall him out late on the turn in there. And Zheng Xinchen, I don't think, didn't have a chance to do anything at OZ4. They'll mark that down. So, one more time as it goes. Jarkko Julha is now next up to go. The Finnish sensation against Lee Shanghai, who is there for DRS Crown Speed Sport. So now here comes a chance for them to go, right, I want in on it. Jarkko Julha is now going to be the one who's got to try and chuck this one in. He looks around at it. Oh, big angle starting to be thrown out there by Lee Shanghai, and he now looks to try and get close, but he's nowhere off the exit. Julha, run. Going through OZ2, trying to build that gap. Hits the mark well. That R32 is absolutely launching away here, heading in towards OZ4. And it's taken all the run for Lee Shanghai to try and get back. Right, ready. And here we go again. So now here comes the attempt to push on in. Jarkko Julha on the chase. Here comes the chance to work on around and say, look, I want in on it. This is going to be big here from Lee Shanghai, who's putting a nice angle in. Jarkko having to fight to get back there through OZ2, but he's a lot closer by comparison. He's doing more than he needs to. Very far forward at OZ3. Oh, it's so late on that spin out, and that's going to be far too deep from Lee Shanghai to finish this one out. In fact, Jarkko finishes ahead there. 5-0, no shocks. So Jarkko Julha, the 3 seed, moves on through. Lee Shanghai out in top 32, which means the 63 machine And on the lead then is Connor Shah in that Ferrari California. 2JZ engine, 830 brake horsepower. 2JZ for only 800 for the likes of Ken Chen, who is going to have to go through. He's going to be very happy, is Ken, that there is sunshine in his pocket. Now let's go for top 32 as they look to both push on and say this is what we are all about. Tip it in, Connor, and get through late on that one for the transfer for Ken as he looks to try and get back. Connor's looking a lot better though as he goes into OZ2 and he's building gap here, needs to drive it off the exit. Ken's being left a little bit in his dash, going through to OZ3 and to OZ4. 2 tyres dip out from Connor. It's a little lackadaisical, but into OZ4 he's got more than the margins required to go through. Ken Chen couldn't chase him down in terms of team out there today, but sometimes they do run for Shanghai Apex together. Now here goes on this next attempt, and it's going to be a case of Ken Chen who's going to have to really kick it in. Connor Shah's going to get it close here through OZ1. Little missing on the mark there from Ken, but Connor's giving himself a lot to go with. Oh, angle so shallow, he's going to have to fight hard out of OZ2 down the hill and off and away. Cone goes flying here from Ken Chen here, but critically, it's a case of Connor Shah being right there into position, and he's so forward into OZ4. He works hard there to try and get that back. Very narrow through as well from Ken. I think Connor's done more than enough here, but so judges side with Connor Shah 5-0 on that one. So through Stepan Zemtsev, Denis Denisov, Staj Dolgic, Danila Vorobiev and Erasmo Rios. It is from time up, Maxim Grossman, who will be up against Sheng Jiacheng, who will be next up into play. Sheng will be actually at Goodwood next week, piloting one of the Chinese cars out there. He's a lovely character, very good social media following in China. Maxim Grossman for time up, running that beautiful blue and black there, and he gets a lovely drifter start, and Sheng Jiacheng being absolutely left in the dust through OZ1. He can't get an angle here into OZ2, and this is going to be perfect. That Mark II Toyota is running away out there through OZ3. Sheng, catch up, buddy. He's going to see that and go, I am nowhere near. Goes right through the outer bound zone. I think he's got about 500, 550, the way he's been drifting. 3 out there. Let's go again. Sheng Jiacheng now needs to get this tipped in and give himself everything he can. Maxim Grossman follows him in. It's very much a case of I've got to hold on and give myself everything very low through OZ2. Maxim really struggling to not run into the side of his door, but he's right there. And it's absolute professionalism from Maxim Grossman into OZ4. Oh, he's going to get a little bit of wall, and he's going to go through that no-go zone. But Maxim, sign of a pro. Sheng Jiacheng will have to come back another day. Maxim Grossman moves into top 16. Looks lovely. 317, 800 brake horsepower. Safira 831, 1008 from the 2JZ. Let's get set and ready. Jason Yi will be shocked to be in 11th seed with a score of 90 plus. But he's going to look to go and lay something down here against Quan. Here goes Jason in, and hey, look at the angle there from Quan, looking to try and chuck that Corvette in. Now needs it to turn back here at OZ2, and oh, Jason's struggling for pace. He's going to need to get out of the corner, just about manages it. Now in towards OZ3. Is there going to be any argument between them here? No. Looks lovely. OZ4, still a little bit of a gap. Quan is way too short and narrow, and he can't get himself into play. Oh, advantage Jason. Give it one more chance as regular running before the one more times ends at this point. Quan now looking to give it a big old chuck in. Lovely angle to try and set himself up. Jason's got to try and follow and manages to do so. Quan's got a lot more confidence leading here into OZ2. Jason's giving him everything he can at the door and saying, I am going to put myself in. Now into OZ2, OZ3, lovely. Now OZ4, how's this going to be? Jason, get more angle. Jason, get more angle. I think he's there, but Quan off the exit's just going to pull away a little bit more. Results are in. One more time. We'll have 4 one more times. We'll now have to go again. The Belarusian from Minsk against Zheng Wenxi in that BMW E46, trying to really wheel that out. He's from and in once more on the drift. So, Matskevich Kirill leading out. Zhang Wenxi has got to get himself close. He staggers out though through OZ1 and had to really fight to get it around. Matskovich giving himself a gap, and cones go flying here from Zhang Wenxi as the gap opens up a mile. Now you're going to start seeing once again the pure power of that Supra pulling itself in against the BMW. Matskovich, Kirill needing that one, desperately needing that run. Get him going, get the noise. We're now into play. Here comes the drift as they set on into play. Lovely roar from Zhang Wenxi, but Matskovich Kirill is there every stage of the way into OZ2, and now looking to get the run out forward for it. Nice on that run in on now. He's going to go to OZ3. This is looking like Matskovich Kirill's here with the way that he's been just following the shadow. He's been at the door handle to the front wheel all the way around. Matskovich Kirill, I think, is going to be very happy with this result. And confirmation that Matskovich Kirill gets there 5-0 in OMT. Go out again. 750 plays 900 horsepower, E92 against Z4. But the darling in the Franks is going to be in rocky waters. Now needing to go and get by this rival a rematch of of top 4 at the last run and attempt. Get him up into noise. Brian Chen is now looking to try and get away, and again he misses at OZ1. Needs to try and get this back. Vanchi gets right back up to the door after being a little bit laboured and behind. A lot of angle there from the likes of Vanchi as he's looking to try and get this back. Brian is really having to struggle now to get himself back into play. Now in towards OZ4, and that's lovely from Vanchi. Advantage, Vanchi. You're going to need to really work hard for it. Notes then going to give themselves a chance. Their engine notes are going to rise, I hope. And let's get ourselves in for this next chance as they get themselves set in. Here goes. Vanchi throws it lovely in. Brian Chen struggling to stay with him and really shallowed out through OZ1. He's going to have to really fight back at OZ2. But again, I think the demons of the past are coming into play. Vanchi, perfect on the line there through TG2. Now into OZ3, gets himself a nice run. And OZ4 follows, but he's so shallow, he doesn't get much time for it. Brian Chen does very well to follow on, but Vanchi here, beautiful car out there, I think, in terms of livery, is going to get parked. Vanchi takes that on a 5-0. Both gave each other a lot. Supra versus Lexus IS200. Zhang Xinchen versus Zhang Zhenhe, as these two will go for their next runs. Both shut the door almost in unison, and this looks like a moment where you can say, if you really wanted it to, master and apprentice if you really wanted to go. Now let's set them up into again, because Zhang Xinchen is now looking to give it some really, really big angle as he works on in through OZ1. Nice. OZ2 follows afterwards. Zhang Xinchen is trying to break away here, but Zhang Zhehe, oh, he overcommits it, and he's going to be so shallow off the exit. You can put him in the shallow end of the kiddie pool if you wanted to. Now as they go into OZ4, Zhang Xinchen is going to be okay with that. Zhang Zhehe fights back to the door handle, who's now got to follow with that experience that he has. He also won a Hyundai N-Cup race over a little bit earlier on in the month, but now he looks to try and really push that on, I'd say in May. Now here goes the look at OZ2. Zhang Zhehe, oh, Zhang Zhehe, no! He's going to go out back entry. The door's opened up for Zhang Zhehe, here to make an upset. Now working through OZ3 into OZ4. Zhang Xinchen immediately back on him, but there's again no drift in, and it's late to try and get that transfer in. Oh, Zhang Xinchen. Judges, I wonder what you think of that. Double OMT. Yeah, go on, we'll go again. So, Corvette 317. It's going to be out there against that Nissan Safiro A31. Here we go. This is where the next attempt now sets itself up. Chucks it on in. Oh, and again, it's big angle energy there from that Corvette, wanting to try and line it back up here into OZ2, but Jason pulls a gap, and he's going to almost zero out, is he? I think you're going to have to say he has. Jason Yee is going to be in the huge driver's seat now with that. Chucks it a mile to say you're not getting anywhere near. Oh no! Jason goes as well! Oh, they're both zero on it. And now they're going to go again. So, Quan, big angle. He's going to get it in. Jason's going to go and follow. This is going to be the mark setter, I think, between the pair of them. Now in towards OZ2. Jason's going to really chuck it in on this outside, needing to go and get this sorted. Quan, though's got some lovely angle, and he's trying to pull it away. And again, he gets big angle into OZ3. Now at OZ4. Oh, he's all the way sideways, trying to get it over and through. Lovely stuff by Quan. Double OMT. Here within China, and these two Zhangs are throwing haymakers at each other. Zhang Xinchen and Zhang Zhehe are there and ready to go and battle. Zhang Xinchen will lead off Zhang Zhehe. It's going to be ZML versus the 1087X Lexus, and into OZ1, Zhang Xinchen, who's got a knack of getting himself through double OMTs, now looks to chuck in another one. Zhang Zhehe way wide at OZ2. Zhang Xinchen's got a chance to break away. His longevity surely holds again and again. Now they're going to work into OZ4, and now Zhang Zhehe is very much on the back foot now. One more time. Take two, part two. Now here goes the charge. Zhang Zhehe, what do you have left? You're going to have to throw an almighty go at it, and he does at OZ1. Zhang Xinchen follows him every stage of the way. Now into OZ2. These two come along, and this is where you got to find the magic. Zhang Zhehe does so, and look at a transfer. Lovely, little shallow if anything there, and again that shallow line comes in. Zhang Xinchen really adapts to it well, going through OZ4, pinning it on the line. I think that's enough. Please don't. Zhang Xinchen at the third time of asking, the master of the double OMT, and say this is a lovely scrap between these two. Jason, I think, will feel a little bit lucky that he is in for a double OMT. Go for it again. Give it some welly. Now into OZ1, and chucking it in goes Jason, and Quan this time a little bit more measured, going through with his effort and stays well with him. OZ2 comes along, nice from Jason with the angle, now builds a gap here, and it's going to be work for Quan to get back. He's got to really fight hard through OZ3, gap still there, and he can't really get anything on the angle chase. Now into OZ4, he takes a bit of ticker tape with him as he goes through, has to double take it through the line though. Quan's got to find some magic in at OZ1, gives it lovely angle. Jason's going to go with him. Now over to OZ2 through TG1. Bang, Jason over the top. Oh, he's going to have to fight hard back to go and get in there, and he does. He stamps down on the throttle and gives him in there. Quan's got a chance to break away, but I don't think he's done so. OZ4 comes along between the pair of them. Lovely stuff as they now get them over the line. And it's magical, absolutely magical. Quan is going to move himself then on a 5-0 count into top 16. Confirmation of what your top 16 is going to look like. And we are going to be in with some great battles. Artem Shabanov against Nick Lee. You've got Tianjin against A80, 1,000 horsepower against Nick Lee's 1,000 horsepower in his BMW M2. Out there, Team Dorimos on the car out there, but representing then as we get ourselves set, the green dropping and into top 16, representing Zero Mileage Lubricants. Artem Shabanov giving it a whole lot of welly into turn 1 and OZ1. Nice in terms of that effort, and Nick Lee's gonna have to work hard to get back. Bang! Big contact there in OZ2, and he does exactly what happened to him early on. That's a big old hit there for Kevin Lee. 3 lights. Nick Lee, you're gonna need a little bit of help here now. Here goes Nick then to try and set this up. Artem Shabanov is gonna just need to have a decent run and stays well clear into OZ1. Into OZ2, there's still a gap that finds itself here, and work's gonna need to be done to get through the middle of the corner. Nick's still got his margin, but the key here is just to put down a run by Artem Shabanov. Prostian in the way that he goes about it, only doing what's required here on this run. Simple. Both of them over, and Artem Shabanov, no time wasted here by the judges on a 5-0 up against Sebastian Fontaine. Fontaine switching into an E46, the E46 there of Tianjin ready, and they know that this afternoon is going to have to go quick now for fear of having to go underneath the darkness to finish off this drifting competition. So here in top 16, Tianjin for 1087X, chucks it in. Sebastian Fontaine follows him every single stage of the way. Lovely stuff between them. Into OZ2, slightly narrow there and having to fight to get the angle round his Fontaine. He's right up there, trying to get him back. Closest we've seen of anybody in this one. Doesn't follow that well through OZ3 and into OZ4. Tianjin just staggers it a bit. Fontaine follows. Sebastian Fontaine with a great chase. They get themselves now the signal. They're waiting for the light stand to get themselves through an LED 4. Sebastian Fontaine now with his chance to lead. Tianjin, how do you hold on to him? Into OZ1, they come along. Oh, CN, shallow to begin with, but able to try and gather it back. But Fontaine's got a massive gap out there. Oh, and Zero's out. Seb Fontaine's going to move up into top 8 with that there. Tianjin ultimately overkicks it in. Something went up then and didn't really set through. And look at that there for Sebastian Fontaine. The front starting to peel off on the front right there. On the left-hand side, Matskevich Kirill, the man from Minsk, up against Wang Chi, who has had to try and fight back from a position where he knows just how to get through. It's Supra plays Z4 in this top 16 battle that we have. Lights are ready. Let's get ourselves in. Matskevich Kirill now letting out a little bit of steam as your leader. And Wang Chi is going to have to try and follow in, and he matches well through OZ1, if a little slight shallow. Now gets the transition over, and he's fighting hard to get the angle while maintaining the pace here with Wang Chi. He gets back through the second part, though, quite nicely. He's a little bit, though, too forward. He has to delay the transition through OZ3, and that gives Matskevich Kirill the gap into OZ4. Gives him everything that you need and then some, and says, thank you, I'm going to break away. The cue given manually to start the light sequence, which is ready and is given itself off and underway. Wang Chi, you're going to need to do something well if you want to try and put the pressure on. Slow on into it on his contact there, and Matskevich Kirill has nowhere to go. But out there it was the delay on that to turn around from Wang Chi. Going to be very interested to hear from the judges whether that's going to be put on Wang Chi on that regard, and if it is, then it's going to be a case of that one is pretty much as you want it if it's put on Matskevich Kirill. And so I look around, and it will. Wang Chi will go through and will upset the odds on Matskevich Kirill on a 5-0. Is on the left-hand side compared to the right. It doesn't just go down the order of where you are. Top seed always gets the preference of the run first on the left-hand side. So Shaq is ready, so too is Kaitak. A Shaq-Kaitak showdown in top 16. Getting itself underway. Adiashvili giving it everything. Kaitak trying to hold himself with, and looks nice, but it's all about this drive off the exit. Now for the transition, and Kaitak's having to work hard to stay with it. Shaq's going to have to give it some more if he wants to get himself off the exit. This is where Adiashvili looks good. Going full Shaq attack. Hoshaoyu having himself into position. Kaitak is going to need to work hard here through OZ4. Oh, and he gives it a lot of angle to get back to the door to finish there. Here we go. Kaitak's going to have to go and make something of this here as he shoves it into OZ1. Oh, he gives it more and then some. Shaq's going to have to hold himself steady here as they now look for the transfer. Yes, he pops out the smoke, has to get up in and close, and personal with it. And he's trying to stay there, but it's still about a car width and a half. We just lose the picture as we go to OZ3. There's a look. It straightens out so early, though, here as he goes through. And then Shaq's got nothing. Has he run out of tyre here as he works through? Oh, Zero's round. Kaitak had it. Zero Mileage Lubricants Gold Court team. Shava Adiashvili on a 5-0 is going to move through and face Wang Chi. So Jerry there is going to be set. He's the slower seed, so I think he'll actually go from the right rather than the left. But this top 16 now is getting itself ready. Pavel Korpelinski on the lead. Jerry Zhu is going to have to give him what for, and is going to get close here through OZ1, and says very nice on terms of that. Has to give it a bit more angle and get close. Pavel trying to pull himself away here through OZ2, and he's managing that very nicely. Now here comes the transfer. Jerry's going to have to fight hard here to get back, get the angle, get himself close. Pavel Korpelinski pretty much there. Jerry gets back to the tail but gets distance. Has got to turn up the magic here. Let's go. Top 16 part 2. Pavel Korpelinski on the follow. Jerry Zhu is going to have to give it some big old angle here. And he does so, and then somebody dips 2 tyres over and over commits. Pavel Korpelinski waits for him there through OZ1, through the transfer, through TG1. OZ2 is there. Pavel is forward, and that could be a little concerning then. Driving it off the exit. Jerry getting enough room to go around. Pavel disappearing behind him and looking for a way. Pushing out through OZ4. Jerry Zhu has put down a lovely run there, but has Pavel got enough to go? Want to go one more time out it. Pavel out the car. They're going to give it to Pavel Korpelinski on a 5-0. So more than enough done in the books. Go into that battle. Zhang Zhenchen has had to really go for it over the course of his runs. And so Johnson Chen, I think, might be in an advantageous situation already. They get themselves set. And let's chuck it into play. Johnson waiting to kick the right-hands machine into action. Gives it a lot into OZ1. Zhang Zhenchen stays with him then, and stays with him quite nicely. Gives a lot of line then into OZ2. And Johnson Chen is absolutely throwing it here around. Staggers a bit and holds on the way. Now you put up the power and now try and go in. Look how narrow it is on the angle into OZ4. That will give Zhang Zhenchen a little bit of help there on that. Lovely stuff from the pair of them of this top 16 clash between Zhang Zhenchen and Johnson Chen. Here we go. Johnson, report for duty. Zhang Zhenchen gives himself the angle here at OZ1. Absolutely nice. Slightly over the mark, but Johnson Chen gets himself back into position, working through OZ2. Big angle there by Johnson, but again, it's Zhang Zhenchen trying to break himself away here. Gets a lovely crossover then through over OZ3. OZ4 is there, and he's starting to try and gap, and Johnson Chen's going to work hard to try and get back to his door. Lovely stuff between these two in top 16. One more time. We're going to have to give him a nickname. He's going to be called Zhang More Time from here on out over in our YouTube chat land. So give yourself some representation. Connor Sharp waiting in that Ferrari California. Wants to try and get that 2JZ engine. 830 brake horsepower in that. He's got 30 more clicks over there on Yarko. But Yarko's got the lead. And now, can the Yarko maniac, Jyrki Stunt, give himself something for it? Connor Sharp wants to get himself in on the picture. Here we go at top 16. Connor's a little forward here, but Yarko gets a lovely line hit through OZ1. Switches it up from OZ2. He won the welcome round. Connor, oh, he almost makes contact there. He was so deep in trying to get that to turn on by. OZ3 on the switchback. Lovely. OZ4 comes along. Connor getting himself back in, but he's slightly back now in terms of distance and getting to it. Because here's the second part. Connor Sharp looking for a big response after that first run. Now kicks it into gear. Oh, he has to try and fight for it. Yarko gets a little bit low because of it, and now needs to try and fight here through the transfer into OZ2. They're going to come along here, and Yarko is through the door of that California. Look at this through OZ3. Nice stuff here. It's going to have to work into OZ4, and it's going to be nice on it, but it's critical. Speed maybe a little lacking off the exit there. Definitely no understanding there that it's going to be anything less than a Yarko Yulia top 8. Maxim Grossman, the last in regulation, will have to get by Shui Quan. Can Quan find a way to go and make this one a dream as it goes? Toyota Mark II versus Corvette. Look at it from Maxim, giving himself a good advantage to start. It's going to have to be worked hard. That's so early in there from Quan. Going to have to work off the exit here. Maxim is pulling on a smoke show out there, and Quan's trying to keep up in that Corvette, but it's not often you see a Corvette lagging behind there. That Toyota was absolutely rapid. Give it some and try and hold. Shui Quan needs to tip this one in with some power and poise. He doesn't quite hit the mark that he wants to. Maxim Grossman follows him every stage of the way into OZ2. Lovely angle there from Shui Quan. Now Maxim Grossman chases back to the door. Needs to try and get this one back the other way. Here on the transfer, gets himself covered. OZ4 puts itself in, but it's not that close. Compromises there, gets back to it though. And confirmation of a 5-0. Maxim Grossman will go to play Jarkko Ylhä. Only one to decide left here to get into top 8. It has to be you, doesn't it? Zhang Xinchen with his third OMT of the day. Sam Chen wasn't able to get there. For Johnson Chen, he knows now he's got to lay down a mark. Equal on horsepower. Toyota versus Nissan, Silvia versus Supra. Johnson Chen leading us off. One more time, part 1. Giving it a lovely drift there from the pair of them. Perfect lines from both, working through into OZ2. Zhang Xinchen runs it a little bit deep, and Hardy's has to straighten. He straightens, and now Johnson Chen is going to get a chance to break away, but Zhang Xinchen's immediately back there and really tries to kick it. He straights again at OZ4. No, Johnson Chen has got the advantage. Gonna be Zhang Xinchen needs some help. Johnson Chen is in the wheelhouse at the moment, but is there anything left to go and kick with? Zhang Xinchen absolutely kills it, but ultimately drops a tyre through OZ1. Johnson Chen's got to fight back here because he's starting to drop a little bit of ground. Zhang Xinchen is going to try and run him away here as they work through OZ2 towards OZ3. Johnson, hold on, he's being dropped. Johnson's being dropped. Zhang Xinchen's trying to come back and say, look, I've got something. I think he's pulled it back. Oh, and they give it to Zhang Xinchen. Oh, magical. He did more than enough to impress. Look around at Sebastian Fontaine. He's in that E46 of ZZC, Zhang Xinchen, because of the fact that he was going to have the engine completely blow up in the last practice. So Sebastian Fontaine fighting here against a driver who has got it all in terms of power, poise and prowess. Now here comes the work through OZ1, and Fontaine is to the door of Artyom Shabanov. Shabanov's going to have to work hard to get himself away. Lovely stuff then through OZ2. Oh, Fontaine is right there. Now they've got to work on the transfer. He had to delay a little bit here through OZ3 into OZ4. They're going to go along. Sebastian Fontaine starting to be gapped slightly. Artyom Shabanov's had a really good run. Fontaine is with him every step of the way on this drift. 3 lights. Let's get it going again. Sebastian Fontaine now needs to put down a run here that is sensational. Shabanov trying to get to, oh, he straightens out. Artyom Shabanov straightens out. Sebastian Fontaine has got everything he wants, and Artyom concedes. Oh my! Sebastian Fontaine is going to top 4, and he has done so on an absolutely whirlwind run today. It's not even his car. Oh my God, what a moment! What a moment in Royal Drift Series folklore. I don't have enough of what Pavel has. I don't have enough to get me in, and I want to fight. I want more, and he's getting it and then some. Shalva Adziashvili versus Vanchi. And now it's time for the second part of top 8. Shack attack. Let's see what you got. Over against Vanchi. Adziashvili hits the mark 1-1. Vanchi Z4 tries to get himself closer in and moves on in to OZ2. Now is there going to be enough to get himself out and into position here off the exit? Shaq's pulling a gap and now needs it through. Vanchi follows him back there through OZ3, now to OZ4. Little shallow on the line, trying to get it back through the second part of it. Vanchi gets himself back to the door slightly, but wow, let's get ourselves set. Part 2. 3 lights. Vanchi, you're going to need to pull something out here, buddy. You've done it twice already. Can you do it for a third? Pulling in to OZ1. Shaq is right there. He's not going to let it go. In towards OZ2. Really pushing hard. The small wheelbase there is going to be there. Almost contact for Shaq. He has to get out of it. Now Vanchi has a chance to build gap, but Shaq straight back into it then, into OZ4. Lovely angle being so. Shaq, hold on to it. Vanchi might have just found the opening that he's been requiring. Confirmation, 5-1. Vanchi is going to go to top 4 again. The powerful Pole, Pavel Korpelinski, up against Zhang Xinchen or Shang Motai. Are we going to see another thriller like we did in the welcome round from Zhang Zhenchen? Pavel Korpelinski chucks it in, and Zhang Zhenchen says, I want in. He's slightly forward at OZ1. Now he's got work to do here at OZ2. Going to go and fire that one back. Pavel is on the line magnificently. Oh, and he had to straighten slightly there. Did Zhang Zhenchen. He's narrow as they go to OZ3. Lovely stuff from Pavel Korpelinski. Over into OZ4. Now looking to try and get this run. Zhang Zhenchen is right back there, but he has left gaps open. Now is the time. Zhang Zhenchen, what's in the back pocket? Pavel Korpelinski, how good can you follow him? Zhang Zhenchen chucks it. Needs to get it in good, and he's got it in a mile. Look at the angle from Zhang Zhenchen. Pavel gets back to his rear quarter. Now into OZ2, there's a gap. Pavel's got to work hard to get back here. Zhang Zhenchen is putting an absolute showcase against Pavel Korpelinski. Now over into OZ4. Zhang Zhenchen will see that gap diminish, and poor Korpelinski gets himself back. Oh my goodness gracious. Zhang Zhenchen has knocked out Pavel Korpelinski in the top 8, and he goes back to back. And now, Maxim Grossman has to get by the winner of the welcome round, Jarkko Yulha. This is your icing on the cake. Jarkko leads. Maxim, in that lovely Mark II, is going to have to go and follow. And oh, he's going to get right up on him. Jarkko, can he get some drive off and away? We know how good the pace has been for the timeout drivers. It's contact into OZ2. Jarkko now is going to have to run away. He thinks he's going to get the advantage now into OZ3 and into OZ4 now. Jarkko Yulha is giving it everything he can, and still Maxim Grossman says there's something there. LED light boards come up. 1, 2, 3. Rev it up! Maxim Grossman needs something truly magical. Jarkko gives it everything and more. They shallow off the exit. How's Jarkko still there at his door? Now into OZ2. Maxim struggling. Jarkko Yulha gets back to his door again. Now moving into OZ3. He's starting to be gapped slightly, but that's all right because he's got a lovely run. OZ4. Maxim Grossman gave it everything. Jarkko Yulha has done something magical yet again. And they'll correct and say it's one more time. One more time. Jarkko Yulha, 2JZ, 800 horsepower, GTE turbocharged. That 2JZ from Maxim Grossman. One more time. Jarkko to lead, Maxim Grossman to try and get in his business. Yulha pulling in at OZ1. Oh, lovely line. And they're both going to follow in lockstep into OZ2. Very shallow on the line there as he worked through. Did Maxim Grossman. Now he's got to work. Yulha then sees him back to his mark. Over into OZ4. They're going to come along. How much more does he go in and try and take it? He gets all the line, all up in his business. Jarkko Yulha will have to give Maxim Grossman something here. And into OZ! He's over the mark! He's got to try and fight back now! This is Maxim's wheelhouse! He's got to get back at OZ2! He does so! Just about does so! Advantage Maxim Grossman! Heading towards OZ3! Jarkko Yulha has got to find something magical now at OZ4! He tries to get it on the angle, tries to stay with it, and he's right up to his door! Oh, that might be the bit that gets him back! Leo Schneider there with Maxim Grossman. How's it going to go? Zemtsev says it's Grossman. Denisov says it's the pair. Dolgic says it's the pair. Vorobiev says it's Grossman. Erasmus Rios says it's Maxim Grossman. 5-2. It's now confirmed. The 6th seed, the highest seed left in the competition. The 9 seed of Sebastian Fontaine. The 10 he's got and then some. Fontaine versus Cheat. Rydans versus champion Speed Sports DRS. Beamer versus Beamer, and Sebastian Fontaine chucks it in at OZ1. Vunchy follows him and does very nicely on that follow into OZ2. Vunchy is right there. Fontaine with a lovely line. All the way to the door goes Vunchy. Fontaine all the way over at TG2. OZ3 looks nice. OZ4 struggling to get it around. Bunchi tags the wall. Bunchi tags the wall. Fontaine gets a gap, and that's the breaker. That's the breaker. Lights will come on. Bunchi will have to set a good pace here. Sebastian Fontaine will want to give it everything and more. Bunchi to tip it in. Fontaine, he's a big angle drifter, gives it all of it as he goes in through OZ1. Bunchi with a very nice line, back to OZ2. Fontaine is so close to him as he works through OZ2. Now as they come off the exit to OZ3, Bunchi's going to get no room to break away. OZ4, Fontaine is still there, waiting for that to turn around. Epic stuff from Sebastian Fontaine. He's done enough to take the maximum points there. It's going to be 5-0. They are going to call this to Sebastian Fontaine, and I don't doubt that for a second. On the right, Zhang Xinchen, the Tiger of Tianma, here over today. Here we go. Maxime is a little slow to get away there as he looks to try and get up into speed. Zhang Xinchen has to really wait and go through, and he's so shallow there. I think he was put off by that as he worked through OZ1. Maxime Grossman then over into OZ2, looking to get away, but he's already back there in the Supra, and he's looking to try and fight hard. Zhang Xinchen getting back. Maxime Grossman now looking over through OZ3, into OZ4 they go along. Zhang Xinchen is right back there, and say, no, he's gone deep. He's gone deep. Zhang Xinchen's gone deep. Maxime Grossman gets out the corner. Well, now let's go for it. Maxime Grossman had to fight for a one more time he thought he wasn't going to get. Now here we go into OZ1. Nice stuff from Zhang Xinchen. Maxime Grossman follows him nice. Now into OZ2. They're going to come along. Nice on the marks again from the pair of them as they look to get this run through. Maxime Grossman is following with a very, very nice run. Zhang Xinchen's trying everything he can, and he's narrowing. He's narrowing, and he had to open up the steering board in Zhang for the way to avoid contact. And Maxime Grossman here gets the job done on Zhang Xinchen in the opening attempt. Points will mean everything here to start your season off properly. Maxime leads, 3 lights, green up and go. Sebastian Fontaine will have to get in the grill. He dispatched of Artyom Shabanov. Can he get another time-up car? It's trouble. He's slightly low. In through OZ1 is Sebastian Fontaine, but Maxime Grossman's trying to chuck it in with everything he's got. Fontaine is still with him, though, and says, I'm not giving this one up. Not like this. He's going to say, right, I want it. And now in through OZ3, into OZ4, Sebastian Fontaine chucks up a Hail Mary. Lovely stuff between the pair of them. For one more time. It's going to make these drifts at the end really, really interesting. Light him up. Fontaine versus Grossman. The rebuttal. Grossman tries to get in. Fontaine again gives it a whole load of welly, and it's Maxime Grossman all over him as he works through. Has to fight hard there on the run into OZ2, but Maxime Grossman is all over him. Right now working to OZ3. Fontaine's trying his best to try and shake him off, but Maxime Grossman is there, and now there's finally a little bit of separation at the end.
They're changing the clutch. They're changing now.
And they're going to give it to Maxime Grossman. 5-0. Zhang Xinchen and Fonchi now fighting to give themselves a shot of second place. And potentially a win, depending on how it goes. Zhang Xinchen will lead off, Fonchi will follow. Oh, look at the gap given immediately from Zhang Xinchen. Fonchi is going to have to work really hard to get back here, and he does so. Nice then over OZ2. Zhang Xinchen gives himself a chance to break through. Here goes the switchback. Little bit late there from Fonchi. Back over into OZ4. Oh, the stagger's ace going into OZ4. Lovely stuff by Zhang Xinchen. Fonchi follows him every stage of the way. The components, all of it, the tiredness factor. Here we go again. Fonchi leading off in that BMW Z4, the Supra. then of Zhang Zhenchen, gets himself in, and he's all 4 over almost. 3 tyres go out, he grabs cones. This is what Wang Qi was looking for. He's back in, there's contact. Zhang Zhenchen's overdriving it, but still he keeps the foot in. Does Wang Qi? He doesn't care he's been hit. He goes at it through OZ3, over into OZ4. This one should be Wang Qi's. Zhang Zhenchen has overcooked it, I said. Judges' scores are in, and Wang Qi takes that 5-0. So with Wang Qi waiting back there, and the damage unrepairable, it's going to be a lap of honour by the looks of things. Over. Zeb, tie, in order to get him back into position. Zeb, it's your last lap. Go and put it down in honour. Lovely on the slide through OZ1. Kicks it around into OZ2. Looking here at OZ3. And now knowing here in his result, he goes to 10 points. And Zhang Zhenchen is confirmed in 4th. OZ4 looks lovely. He's a big style drifter. He's the giant now for all the marbles. A 5-0 washover. Zhang Zhenchen not offering a response after top 8 with Jarkko Ylhä. Thought he was out. And that 5-4 one more time gave him a chance to get back in. Gets himself into top 4. And now has to just beat Wang Qi for it. Wang Qi, you're going to have to play spoiler, a 20 seed jumping in. Here we go, one final time. Then for Maxime Grossman leading. Wang Qi follows nicely there through OZ1, over into OZ2, gets back into position. He gets better and better with every drift. Look at it from Wang Qi. He's sending a message, not that great through OZ3, into OZ4. He tags the wall, gets himself deep. There's contact, and that should do it. That should do it for Maxime Grossman if he only puts a run down. Wang Qi and Maxime Grossman. Here we go. Into OZ1. Wang Qi looks to throw it down. Holds the line. Here out of OZ1 and over into OZ2. Maxime Grossman keeps it close and marks it every stage of the way. That Z4 is very tough to hold station with for how small it is. Out of OZ2, into OZ3, now to OZ4. Maxime Grossman, no mistakes from here, buddy. It's time up for everyone else. Maxime Grossman takes round 1 and gives it a big old doughy. 5-0. For Maxime Grossman, it is first place for the time-up man. Job well done. You're right in the championship hunt. And he's going to be a very strong contender if he keeps this level of consistency up over the course of competitions. Your number 1 position going to Maxime Grossman. And second belongs to Sebastian Fontaine there, who drifted with so much talent and poise. A fairy tale, didn't quite have the magic ending, but was very much close enough to it. And critically, Maxime Grossman had to really get himself re-geared up after that top 8 debacle with Jarkko Ylhä. It takes a really strong professional champion's mindset to do that, and Maxime Grossman got himself re-geared back in and did a wonderful, wonderful result. Time up, take the win. Right hands in second. And Champion Speed Sports, they're in 3rd. Your top 3. And the confirmation of 340,000 Rembrandt, Class 0 mileage. Getting that 3rd place, 2nd, and 170,000 yen to the team over at Rydans. That will help, a huge moment for Rydans 441 VW Updrift.
Wow!
But the overall going to time up in the team standings, who got 2 of their entries into top 8.
再一次恭喜我们所有的获奖车队以及选手。
It'll be more than enough to take the team standings and the biggest result up there. So time up on top and saying to everyone else, If your time is up, our time is now. As far as the results go. What a pleasure it has been to bring you all of the coverage here. My name's Shakespeare here with the Royal Drift Series. From the pilots, the teams, the judges, spectators, and all of the championship partners that helped to get a wonderful show like this going. The marshals around, the likes of the safety crews that are there and available. What an incredible day we have seen. And the champagne goes flying everywhere here as we head towards night here at Shanghai Tianma.